What's up, everybody? Obviously, I'm not at school today, but I'm in here like 9:15 at night making this video just so you guys can kind of start this project. That's going to probably take you until next week. If we don't start today, I'm afraid we won't get it finished by the time we have parent-teacher conferences next week, and I just want it done. All right? But the first thing we got to talk about, you guys missed out on me dressing up like a VSCO girl for Halloween today. Alright? Lily from my first period class and Lorelei from my third period, they taught me how to be a VSCO girl. They came up with like a whole slideshow telling me the things I gotta do, things I gotta wear, things I gotta say. Alright, you all missed out on that because my daughter is sick. So I'm at home taking care of Ellie while she's coughing and crying and doing all that stuff. But this is what you guys missed out on. Alright, you missed out on this. You missed out on my wonderful Hydro Flask, my Save the Turtles, my oversized sweatshirt or t-shirt, whatever I was going to wear. Sorry, guys. I'm very disappointed in myself. You should be disappointed in me, too. Alright, but let's get to what we need to do for today. So right now, Mr. Gage, Mr. Kernan, or Mr. Nagaki are going to pass out a piece of paper. It looks something like this. All right, it's called Create an Animal Project. This is going to need to be in your science folder. Keep this with you for the next week. All right, until we turn every piece of this project in. All right, so you guys pass this paper out. Once you guys get it, just take a look at it, read through it. I'm going to go through the project with you, and then we'll look at the back, and we're going to talk about all the important things that you guys will need to do for this project. So if you guys want, you can pause the video now while you pass it out, and then I'll keep going with my wonderful video. So you all have this. Just take a look. I'm going to read it. I guess here's what I'm going to do first. Before that, I'm going to talk about your entire project, the things that you guys are going to have when this is completed. All right. So the first thing you guys are going to have, you'll have this Create an Animal paper. This is kind of like your rough draft. All right. If you were to flip over, we're going to go through all of these questions together today. And you guys will probably have this worksheet figured out by the end of class. Now, this is all the hard work that you guys will have to do. The rest of it's just kind of putting together a little booklet, making a foldable. All right, but here's just kind of the project. It's called Create an Animal because what you guys are going to do is take 4 different animals. You guys can do more than 4 if you want, but 4 is the minimum. You're going to take a bunch of different animals and put them together to make a super animal. All right, and now here's my super animal. You obviously know that I'm the best artist since Pablo Picasso. So here's this masterpiece. Yes, hold the applause until after the video, please. And I know you all just started clapping right then, so that's why I'm pausing, waiting for you all to calm down. And now we'll go. All right, so this is called a Durduckeion. It is a mix between a deer, a duck, and a lion. I only did 3 animals because I wanted to make it simple. I also didn't want to limit your guys' animals. Now, you are not allowed to do the exact same ones that I did. You cannot add a deer, duck, and a lion together because you're just copying me. All right? I do not care if you pick one of my animals for this project, but you cannot pick an entire thing. So what this project is you're taking a bunch of parts of different animals and morphing them into one. So if you guys can see, we have the body of a deer. We have the face of a lion. We have the webbed feet of a duck. And you guys will have a couple more animals, at least one more animal that you'll have to add to that. All right. So this is the front part of my booklet. If you guys look on the inside, all kinds of information is on it, like our animal's basic needs, different adaptations that my super animal has, organisms that it lives with, a description of the environment, and finally a symbiotic relationship that my Durduckeion is in. Alright, if I were to flip over this, you're going to see a wonderfully drawn map that even Mrs. Shine would be proud of. Yes, she would. She would say this is actually very, very good, and it's labeled properly. Pacific Ocean. Look, my little compass rose. I just have to add the actual directions to it. Alright, and this is kind of not necessarily just a political map, even though it does have some of the, I guess, political features. It is also a, oh my, I forgot it, political geographic map. There we go. It's physical. Physical, that's the other word. You can go geographic or physical with it. All right? So there's the different maps. And finally, the last part of this, the very last thing you will do is you guys will create some kind of art work to go with this. This is just a piece of paper that's folded up into a diorama that has my animal in its natural environment. If you guys look to the back of the classroom, behind the deer head are some different dioramas that kids have used in the past. They just used shoe boxes and they were able to add clay figures. Some people have made posters. All right, we will get to that stuff next week. Your main goal for today is this worksheet that I have posted up here. Let's talk through this one together. All right, so create an animal. You are a zoologist who has just discovered a new animal species. Please follow along with me on this one. Okay, as every good scientist does, you will document your findings. So design a fact sheet highlighting this new animal discovery. Be sure to include the following key pieces of information: your animal's name, your animal's basic needs, where your animal lives, how your animal adapts to its environment, a symbiotic relationship, and then a colored illustration. Your fact sheet might have features like labels, captions, maps, bold words, and much more. So these aren't necessarily just directions either, okay? This is a checklist. As soon as you guys get done with number 1, cross it off. When you get to number 2, cross it off. Because either Friday or next week, I'm just going to say, here are the things you need to do them. Okay? So this is going to be your step-by-step guide of, hey, did I get this finished? Is it done? Did I turn it in? Because this is probably one of the most missed projects that we will have. Because people just don't remember the 3 different parts that they need to have turned in. The directions will give you step-by-step. All right, so I'm only going to talk about 1 and 2 today. We'll take care of 3 through 8 on Friday. So number 1 says, answer the questions on the back of this sheet. It's going to get you thinking about your animal that you want to create, what adaptations and symbiotic relationships that you're going to need. And number 2 just says, show your teacher when you have this completed. We're going to go through this step by step. Our 3 teachers will be moving around the room. 2 or 3 teachers will be moving around the room, kind of taking care of questions that you guys may have. So right now, flip this paper over. We're going to go through step by step. All right, so I'm going to go to question 1. I'll explain it. We'll pause the video, so on, so forth. All right, so number 1 says, list 4 animals that you want to use in creating a new animal. If you guys notice, I've listed 3. You need 4 animals for this. So I listed deer, duck, and a lion. All right, it's your guys' job to just pick 4 animals. They need to be real animals. Do not pick dinosaurs just because it gets too complicated. All right, so pick 4 real animals and write them down right there. You guys can pause the video right now, and we will get back to question 2 when just about everybody's finished. All right, so with question 2, what we're going to do, you guys are going to notice, I wrote my animals in the top headings. Okay, so my deer, my duck, my lion, and whatever your 4th animal is going to go in here. Okay. So then what we're going to do, after we have our animals' names in there, we're going to list 2 adaptations that could benefit those animals. So for my deer, flat teeth, that's an adaptation that helps them be herbivores. Their brown fur is an adaptation that helps them blend into their surroundings. My duck has webbed feet that helps it swim. It has wings, it's going to help it fly. Migrate if need be, fly to different food sources. My lion has sharp teeth because it's a carnivore. It has claws so that it's able to kill its prey. And then my 4th animal, that's up to you guys. Okay? So, your job, write your 4 animals at the very top headings, and then you need to list 2 adaptations for each one. So 2 things that help it survive in its environment. Pause the video now, give the kids time to kind of answer these questions. Help partners, or help people out at your tables. We're not partnering up, all right, but help each other out if they don't know 2 adaptations. And you can list more if you want, but 2 is the minimum right now. All right, pause the video. All right, for question 3, if you guys want, this helps me. All right, just draw lines down through, and you're able to kind of connect the ones together. So for question 3, it says, choose parts of the organism that you want to create your new animal. This is where we're actually going to start drawing some things. You're not going to draw your entire animal now, but we're just going to kind of piece it together to kind of help us out. So the first part, I drew the deer's body because that's what I wanted to use. All right, the deer's body has brown fur, and you guys notice on my picture, I did not draw the head. I just drew the body part that I wanted to use. Okay, so I drew the deer's body. You notice I have the lion's head with the sharp teeth, the mane. I drew the duck's feet because I kind of want my animal to be able to swim a little better than having just the deer's hooves that doesn't really help in swimming. All right, and you need to do that with all 4 of your animals. So just draw the different parts that you want. First, you got to think of the parts that you want, and then you're able to kind of draw them there. So pause the video now. All right, hopefully we have them all drawn. Now when we go to part 4, question 4, it says, why would your animal need those characteristics? So is your animal a predator or prey? Explain how these adaptations will benefit your organism. So basically, how do the things that you just drew help your animal survive? All right, so with my deer's body and fur, I have the deer's legs because they can run pretty quick. All right, the brown fur also helps it blend in. It's protective coloration like we talked about last week, or last Friday. The lion's head, it has sharp teeth to help it eat meat. It's able to tear into flesh better. The mane, some people think is scary. Maybe that would deter certain predators. I don't know. And then the duck feet help it swim away from predators, or if put on a super animal like what we have, it might help the lion, deer, Durduckeion, whatever, swim towards fish it's able to catch. All right, so write your guys' animals at the top, and then write how those adaptations or how the body parts that you chose help that animal survive. All right, you guys pause the video, have the kids work. All right, finally, the question 5. This is the hardest one. All right, I want you to break this up the exact same way that I did. So the question is, what symbiotic relationship would your organism be a part of? Why did you choose this one? You don't have to do that. We're going to go step by step. All right, so the first thing y'all need to do, you need to write the word mutualism, commensalism, parasitism. All right, so do that now. I will just pause the video so that they can write mutualism, commensalism, parasitism, and then have them draw this little T-chart like this to separate it into 3 different parts. All right, so pause the video, have them write that. All right, now that y'all have that written, mutualism, commensalism, parasitism, just pick one. I do not care which one it is. All right, I think mutualism is pretty easy. I think parasitism is pretty easy. Commensalism, you guys can, if you want to do that, awesome. All right, but here's what you're going to do. Okay, so we have mutualism, commensalism, parasitism. I picked mutualism for mine. So my next step was I have a 1 and I have a 2. All right, remember, symbiosis is about 2 animals. Mutualism is a win-win. Okay, so my Durduckeion is an animal, and I just chose a cardinal because it's Ohio State bird. Okay, so my Durduckeion and my cardinal, those are my 2 animals. So now I need to figure out how we get to a thumbs up, a win-win. All right, so then my explanation says cardinals eat bugs off the Durduckeion, so the cardinal gets food, and my Durduckeion gets cleaned. It's a win-win. So that is how it is mutualism. If y'all chose parasitism, you could have your animal and a tick. All right, so the tick gets food, your animal gets hurt. It's a win-lose. All right, if you want commensalism, you can have your animal maybe gives a ride to something. Your animal doesn't care. That animal gets a free ride. It's up to you. Okay, so just try to think about that. Answer that question down there. If you have questions, Mr. Kernan might be able to help you because he was here taking care of all our symbiosis stuff. If not, we'll get back to this question when I come back Friday. Hopefully I'm here Friday. So take time, do that, and then I'll kind of wrap this up in a second. So pause the video. You can work on question 5, and see you soon. All right, so with the last minute or so I have on my video, this worksheet, like I said, you need to keep in your science folder. Reese, Milo, don't lose it. Okay, I know all the other class are going to be like, oh, we don't have Reese or Milo. Okay, but don't lose it. Put it back where it belongs in my bin, please and thank you. If you guys have time, if you have 3-4 minutes left of class, I want you guys to start coming up with your name. All right, so the name of your animal, you just take the animals listed and you just pull different pieces from it. Like I chose DER for my deer. I chose olive duck, and I chose ion, and I just put it Durduckeion. Okay, you guys can come up with crazy names, mix the different ones, first, last, you can have 2 separate names. It doesn't matter to me. All right, so come up with a name and you can just write it up here. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll talk about this. All right, talk together with your groups about how to make a name. Finally, if you guys get done with the wonderful name, which is that's the fun part, start drawing a picture of your animal together right here. You can draw its environment